Welcome to Rathalos Watch. Today we will be going over 33 new gameplay details and other variety of changes that we've learned from the Scarlet Forest developers live stream demo from Tokyo Game Show. The last one is very important to your hunting needs, so make sure you stick around for the entire video. There's a lot of good information here that is quite easy to miss. Without further ado, let's get into it. Number 1. One of the new monsters, Cumitris, is a scavenger who doesn't really hunt to kill, but instead relies on carcasses and dead monsters. Because of this, he tends to get into combat with other monsters over food such as the Tail-Oth. You can also use the luring pot to lure him to Tail-Oths to force a fight for some extra damage and a knockdown. I really like this interaction and gameplay element. It spices things up and makes it more varied and makes the world feel much more alive. Number 2. Traveling between locales is completely seamless now. There are no load times and you will never see menus ever again. Also, if you pay attention to the radar on the map, you can see a big arrow. That arrow indicates that you're about to enter a completely different locale. Awesome detail, and this is just much more immersive than anything else we ever had before. Number 3. When the developers pull up the map, on the left hand side we can see a bunch of drawings of different monsters. You can clearly see that one of them is a drawing of Uthduna. Meanwhile, the other sketches look like monsters we haven't seen before. Let me know what you think of these sketches and if there's anything new we haven't really noticed before in the comments. Number 4. Watch out for Congalala's big belly because he will gladly knock you away with it. This is one of his old school original attacks that he does in the second generation of Monster Hunter in Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. If you are brand new to the series, get ready for a lot of belly knocking. I am so happy that newcomers get to experience this amazing monster. Number 5. In here we can see the hunter going up the tree canopy which leads to the second map floor of Scarlet Forest. I believe this is where the young Kutku's nest will be residing. I'm a bit bummed they did not keep following the left side. Also, when he jumps off on his sacred, we can just see how massive the new scale is of Monster Hunter Wilds. There's a lot of verticality here. I love the sense of scale that this game brings. Number 6. In the water here we can see new monsters called Purican. I'm not 100% sure how to spell their name or even if I pronounced it correctly, but it sounded something like that along those lines. Sadly, the audio was very poor quality, so it was hard to make out what they said exactly. Also, they will go hostile on you if you are injured because they can smell your blood. Otherwise, they will stay friendly. I really love how the ecology is much more natural now and dynamic. Number 7. In here, we can see the hunter sneaking up on Lala Barina. In Monster Hunter Wilds, if you manage to sneak up on a monster before they notice you, you can perform a sneak attack just like the one you can see here. It's a good way to get a head start on some extra damage ahead of the actual fight. Number 8. In the demo, the developers were able to leave combat immediately by fast traveling to a camp. Do not freak out about this. This is not an actual feature of the game. There was another content creator that thought this was an actual feature. I am not going to mention their name, but that is false information and I'll explain why. But the point of this is that it can get really confusing, so I do not really blame him for thinking in such a way. The developers were playing a developer demo build with access to debug commands, meaning they can pull up a bunch of different console commands to spawn in monsters and manipulate certain aspects of the game for quick demonstration purposes due to the limited time. The only way you could fast travel in previous titles during combat was by using a farcaster that you had to craft. There is no possible human way that players will be able to escape and fast travel to a camp during an intense fight. Imagine fighting Arkveld and you're low on HP. Oh yeah, let me go fast travel to a camp. No, that's not happening, guys. Come on now. That just wouldn't make sense. I saw some people freak out about this and wanted to clarify here that that's not actually happening. Number 9. If the hunter ends up touching Lala Barina's florets, then he or she will eventually end up getting paralyzed. I really like this mechanic. It adds something new to the encounter, so you have to be careful where you step. Number 10. Here's what a turf war looks like between Lala Barina and Doshaguma. Also, if you look closely at the end of the turf war, Lala Barina paralyzes Doshaguma so she can escape to safety. I think it's safe to say that Doshaguma wins this one. What about you guys? Who do you think won this turf war? Let me know in the comments. Number 11. Lala Barina can paralyze you with her stinger as seen here. So it looks like you're going to have to be extra careful when fighting her. Due to her sudden movements, it's hard to predict when she will attempt to sting you. Number 12. You can use a ranged weapon to destroy the florets to clear the battlefield for your own safety. Looks like the fight might be a bit more challenging for melee. So you'll have to go full range for a hard counter tactic against Lala Barina. Number 13. In here we can see the hunter picking up a spider web. This is what they look like in Monster Hunter Wilds. Pretty much exactly the same as World, not much of a difference unfortunately. Number 14. There is a new animation for picking up bones. You can actually see the hunter physically picking up actual bones instead of just making hand movements. A lot more detailed than before. It's always the small things. Number 15. In here, the hunter uses his slinger to grab something from this other new small monster. Unfortunately, I don't know what kind of item it is or what it is since it was in Japanese. They didn't mention the name of the small bird either. either. Number 16. Uthduna likes to do a big belly slam attack that will send waves of water at you and do damage and slow you down if the waves hit you. Looks like Uthduna will be a very slow monster, but it will be challenging to fight in the water because you are also slow down. Number 17. Uthduna's big flappy wing looking things are called veils, and when you hit them, the damage will be handled differently. You will see a blue shield symbol and will deal a lot less damage, and that's because Uthduna's veils are protected by the water element. However, you can eventually break them, which will allow you to do full damage wherever you want. Otherwise, you'll have to target different parts of its body. And yes, you can get breaking parts for breaking the veils. Number 18. Once you are in the plenty period and downpour stops happening, Uthduna will be at a much larger disadvantage since she can no longer really splash you with water when she belly flops. You can also drag her onto the land to make the fight easier. She also completely changes her colors. Really love the vibrant colors on this monster's skin and contrast. Number 19. In here we can see the ecology and endemic life at its full effect. The bird lands on a Venus flytrap and then just gets eaten. This is kind of easy to miss, but I thought it was an incredible detail. I just love how the world is much more alive this time around. Number 20. Looks like Dalthodon can also appear in the Scarlet Forest. Dalthodon are small monsters who reside in the Windward Plains, but it seems they can visit here as well. So this confirms that Windward Plains is not their only location. Number 21. In here, Monster Hunter Wilds players will finally get introduced to a monster and his pack from the second generation from Monster Hunter Freedom Unite on the PSP, Kangas and the Congalala. Kangas are the small monkeys and Congalala is the alpha leader. Number 22. Also, it looks like the Scarlet Forest has an abundance of honey. No previous games had such a massive amount of honey in one place. This could possibly suggest some sort of a Neopteran bee monster? We're gonna have to wait and see. Let me know what you think of a bee monster potential and if you'd want one in the comments. If you are new to Monster Hunter, try to collect as much honey as possible as it can be used to craft mega potions among other useful things. Number 23. Hunters can use their slinger to hit the beehive to disturb the bees and lure a monster to it. In this case, Capcom leads the poor farting monkey Congalala to the bees. The bees then attack the Congalala and start to deal actual damage. He then eventually proceeds to take a dump on them and then they die right after. I guess that's one way to go out. This is peak gameplay and comedy at the same time. Number 24. Palicos will occasionally troll you in Monster Hunter Wilds. Here in the camp screen, we will see the Palico wanting to play with a knife. Then she starts pretending that she got cut. The hunter then freaks out and then feels bad for the Palico. And then the Palico essentially tells her, I just trolled you. Quite fantastic if you ask me. Number 25. Looks like fishing is now expanded and has more in-depth minigame when it comes to catching a bigger fish. It seems that you need to move your analog stick either towards where the fish is going or the opposite way, and then when it jumps out, press the R2 button to reel it in. Unfortunately, we won't know 100% how it works till we play the game, but I thought it was worth the mention. Number 26. The small fish monster Gajaos will be returning, as you can kind of see it here in the water. This small fish was introduced back in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate and has been in every single generation ever since, besides the 4th generation. Number 27. Here's what the Cumatrus icon looks like in the game. The icon really reminds me of Glavenus because of the tail. I'm curious if Glavenus will still be in the game or added at a later date. They kind of have an awful lot of similarities. I guess only time will tell. Let me know if you think Glavenus makes it to Monster Hunter Wilds in the comments. Number 28. In the Wadwad village, you can trade with the Wadwads, as you can see the trading icon over their heads. However, we're not sure what kind of items you can trade and what they give in return, but this looks pretty cool and it might be the replacement for the Veggie Elder. Number 29. When tracking Cumatrus, your scout flies can find feathers laying on the ground, similar to how when looking for Anjanath, you can find his mucus leftovers in Monster Hunter World. Number 30. We finally got to see what the blue sharpness looks like in Monster Hunter Wild, and you can see it right here on the top left corner of the screen. I'll be zooming in so you can get a better look. I think it looks quite good if you ask me. I love the new sharpness icon as well. Number 31. Here's what the Uthduna icon looks like if you are curious. Overall, I like the new icon styles and I believe they look quite good. I wish Capcom released a high quality version of these so I can get a better look. Number 32. Congalala can eat a variety of mushrooms and can gain new abilities. In here we can see him eat a red mushroom and then later burping out an explosive blast attack. So you better watch out. He can also consume a poisonous mushroom as well and breathe out poison instead, as an example. Number 33. Last but not least, in here we can see a variety of monsters in the hunting journal thing. If you pay close attention, you can see purple stars next to the monster icons. These stars indicate the strength of the monsters. For example, you can see two different Balaharas a 3-star, and a 4-star. The 4-star is more powerful and has a higher chance of dropping more rare materials than the 3-star. You can also see question marks on the reward icons, which indicates that it's most likely RNG based and has a chance of dropping, but is not guaranteed. And those are the 33 new details that you've learned today about Monster Hunter Wilds. Thank you all for watching. Let me know which one was your favorite. Don't forget to also mention which ones you did not like and why you did not like them. Don't forget to like and subscribe with notifications turned on. Peace out and happy hunting.